So we're going to go through ROB here. So chapter one, sadhana, sadhana, special features, SRI, spiritual endeavor. So sadhana is the definition of a particular endeavor. So why are these the essence of all the shastras? Because SM has declared himself as that the discourses are the very essence of all of these different shastras. Core of all of these is pure, unattached and steady mind, authentic spiritual sadhana based on personal experience. So it is not from an illusion. It is from personal experience. Maharaj has actually personally experienced all of these different things that he's talking about, and all these analyses. And these endeavors are revealed by Brahma themselves, right? They're not revealed by anyone else. They are revealed by Brahma, so who is the authority of all of that? Altruistically imparted teachings for the liberation of Jews. So there was no selfish motive. It was only merely out of pure compassion that he incarnated to grant liberation. And there were two boons to bear pain of scorpion stings, begging instead of his devotees. Doubtless and unfailing sadhana, this message is definitely true. And it is coordinated. So the spiritual sadhana is coordinated. So it is not out of balance. It is perfectly balanced. It is perfectly in conjunction with all of the details. So this balance consists of austerity, renunciation, ND, meditation, yoga, and all of these different facets. They come together to perform a coordinated spiritual sadhana. Analogies like a potato curry in the same way that a tasty curry, many ingredients, each in the right measure at the same time. It's not one ingredient maximized in the same way. It's not one of these endeavors or virtues maximized. It's the culmination and the balance of all these virtues. So powerful and accessible sadhana. It is accessible. You do not have to perform many extreme stringent austerities, do not have to go through many of these physical hardships, but the single most important, powerful sadhana is refuge in God and keeping in company of the sadhu with 30 attributes. And if you do that, then it is extremely accessible. Do not have to go through many of the different endeavors in the physical hardship. Sadhana is not for the attainment of what PB, but to gain his R. So already have attained SM, attained SM cannot be found in infinite universe. No need to look anywhere else. So it's not strictly for the attainment of PB, but it's actually just merely to gain his R. Manifestation of GS, that's the highest spiritual endeavor. Right? So not even any of the different endeavors that were mentioned, such as meditation, yoga, and all of the different ND, but if manifestation of the GS, and if you can firmly abide by that and take refuge in it, that is the highest ideal of spiritual endeavors or sadhana. You have seven principles. We know it's if the final goal is met, that's the only thing that matters, right? Is the final goal met, right? That's sadhya, that final goal, not by worldly gain. And so that what we confirm here is what is the final goal. So that's that what determines the success of SS. Seven principles, right? We have Sankalpanishta, Swarabhanishta, Swadharmanishta, Sampanishta, Sabdhavani, Satpurush, Prasang, and then Satatya, right? Continuity. Sankalpanishta. So this is conviction in one's wish. So we know Sankalpanishta is the conviction in a certain desire, and any achievement is brought from the conviction in one's belief from that desire. So clear conviction unlocks latent and hidden power. So it prevents wasted time and energy. And we have this rarity and purpose of human birth. 35 million p squareds, adept worldly affairs, careless liberation, blunt intellect. Sankalp Nisha in. Now, what should he have Sankalp Nisha in from conviction of the wish? In is it to do regular worldly desires and pleasures? No, it is to have the desire to go to AD and no desire for any temporary pleasures. So we have the entire framework of this is the entire power of conviction in one's wish. This is the power of conviction in one's wish. And why do we want to have that power and conviction in one's wish? Well, it is due to the rarity and purpose of this human birth. And then now, what do you want to have that conviction of desire in? That is, we elaborate that it's not these worldly pleasures, but it's actually the AD and attaining AB. And then now we go into what are the ways to strengthen that conviction in one's wish, right? Sankalp Nishta, instead of association, reading, resolving, writing that resolve daily. Now we have Swarup Nishta, which is conviction in God. So now here we had Sankalp Nishta, which was conviction in one's wish. Now we have Swarup Nishta, which is conviction in God's form, which is that's what sort of now what is the necessity of conviction in the form, which is that only sadhanas do not lead to ultimate liberation. So you can do austerities, you can do renunciation, but you need to have conviction and a thorough understanding, not just the action, but you have to have a thorough understanding, which is why we have sort of nishtha or conviction in the form itself. So as a divine form, Supreme God always manifests on earth. God realized how the GS incarnation, BS currently manifest, PSM, MSM. And then now we go into the means to develop that sort of Nishtha, or to develop that form. We have supporting habits. So the outline of this is, why do we need conviction in God's form? That is because all these other spiritual endeavors are not enough. Those don't lead to ultimate liberation. And then liberation can only be attained through sort of Nishtha conviction in the form. And then how can we attain that sort of Nishtha? We have different examples and methodologies to that. Now we have Swadharma Nishtha, which is Nishtha is again conviction, and then Swadharma is in your Swadharma, or in the dharma, or in the righteousness. And this talks about specifically about bhakti. Right, predominance of bhakti in Ekantik Dharma. We have bhakti necessity. Why do you need to do bhakti? What are the disadvantages of lacking bhakti? Significance of different types of bhaktis. We know the 9 types. And advantages of perceiving total divinity, disadvantages of not perceiving divinity. And then we have Swadharma. So again, the different types of bhakti. So we have Prem Lakshmi Bhakti, loving devotion, offering love, having love towards God, Shravan, listening, and then the benefits, not doing Shravan, disadvantages, listening to spiritual discourses, and what's the art of listening to the spiritual discourses. We know how the 4 types and methodologies to listen to spiritual discourses. So this goes through all the 9 types, and why you want to do the 9 types, and the drawbacks of not performing even a single one of these different 9 types, necessity of doing physical service, which is seva. And then the art, we talk about the art, we talk about Swadharma, we talk then we go into the next section of the Bhakti. So Arjanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmani, Arjanam, bowing down. So 5 Mansis, Vandanam. Vandanam is bowing down, right? Arjanam is doing worship. Dasyam is completely eradicating ego, behaving as a servant. We have the qualities of one who does behave like a Das Sankhya, right? Atmanivedanam, total surrender, surrendering body, various aspects of bhakti. Which is the best? Which is the best type? Which is the best type? Not all forms need to be practiced daily. And so whatever aids in one developing firm attachment, that's the best type for that particular person and that particular reason. So there's no firm fixed best type. It depends on the person and individual and their attachment. Right? Fidelity and bhakti. So meditates only on his Ishtadev, not have any affection for any other gods. Right, so Hanumanji is the idol devoted exclusively to Ramchandraji. So having firm faith and conviction in only one, we have Swadharma Nishtha and the Dharma, significance of Dharma, necessity of Dharma, benefits of observing Dharma. If there's non-observance, what happens? So this ties into what are the things that could happen if you don't observe proper Dharma. Means how can you do firmly observe Dharma? So the ways, and then we have Swadharma Nishtha. Kanan. So this was all about the different types of bhakti. And before, now we're going into dharma. Now we're going to the necessity of dharma, how to have dharma, and means to observe proper dharma. So dharma gnan, right? Now this is gnan, significance of gnan. Why do we want to have gnan? Deficiency if you don't have atmanishta. And so part of gnan is actually having atmanishta, right? Right, believing yourself not to be the body and to be the atma, which is distinct from the body. Well, if you don't have that, then that is considered ignorance. There's no inner bliss. And then how can you develop firm Atmanishta as behaving and understanding yourself to be the Atma? It's through these endeavors. And then now we have Vairagya. So right, we're talking about Dharma, Gnana, Vairagya, Bhakti, right? In Bhakti, we talk about the 9 types. And in all these, we're talking about what's the necessity of each one of these. Right, so Dharma, Gnana, Vairagya, Bhakti, right? What's the necessity? What are the drawbacks of not having one? How to cultivate that one? And then we have special concepts of Vedantic Dharma as a whole, right? So we already talked about Vairagya, right? What are the means to attain Vairagya? Knowledge of Sankhya, everything is perishable, nothing is eternal, worthless, temporary, cause misery. So any type of single attachment causes intense misery. And then methods to actually attain Ekantik Dharma. So this is aggregation of all the 4 types that we talked about. And then we are now we're going into the concept of unities, Sampanishta. So the three ideas substitute Bhavekta, necessity of having unity, benefits of having unity, methods to have unity, and then the five M's of unity, seven principles of unity. So breaks unity down into how to have unity, seven principles, five M's of unity. And then vigilance, having vigilance is being constantly aware of Kusang external company. We have internal vigilance, right? Internal negative company. So there's external company, internal company, which is attachment to the cliches and the desires and so on. Methods to eradicate those desires, five P's. And then we have attributing negative traits, right? Human traits, seeing human traits, not ideal, drawbacks of seeing human traits, and then we have association. So we talked about so let's give a high level. We talked about vigilance and what vigilance in avoiding internal kusang, which is negative company, vigilance in avoiding external kusang, external company, and then we also talked about unity, benefits of unity. Now we have association of the sense of what the need for GS. Right, you only become flawless if you understand him to be flawless. Association with GS, extremely powerful, significance of association through physical notions of right? Living as per the commands, association through speech. Now we have continuity, right? So Satati is continuous, and then Satati is continuity. So this is not just something that you do like one or two times per day, like on a few days. It's something you sustain over years and not just weeks. So there is a need for Satati continuity in these endeavors. Right? And then we have many analogies, even a soft rope, groove, stone, daily usage. So you want to constantly be engaged in doing these endeavors. So now we talk about continuity. What does continuity mean in Sankhya is having, maintaining that resolve no matter obstacles. Continuity in Swarnabhishta is maintaining that resolve no matter unshaken by any logic, person, or even own mind. And Satati in Bhakti is continuing to do Bhakti, not abandoning the attempt and the activities, even though despite external circumstances. Siddhartha Sabnishta unity in Sabdhamini. So we talk about now here continuity despite obstacles, despite other external circumstances, despite your own internal circumstances, your internal framework, and not letting that affect the continuation of these activities of maintaining Bhakti Dharma Gyan Vairagya, right? And then also maintaining unity, vigilance, talk about association. What are the forces that break this continuation is adverse circumstances and kusam, very bad negative company. Continuity of some spiritual endeavors sustains all others. So these are now if you do these endeavors, it sustains all other endeavors that we talked about. So now this is the mentality. So now this is the mental sadhana. So these are the thoughts to sustain. And this is the physical sadhanas, which are the physical activities to do. And then now 15 is all repaying our debt, which is essentially just one section. There are no subsections in this. It is everything up to now is about what to do. And now this is about why to actually do it. And so the grace is already achieved. Now what we owe is imbibing these seven principles. And then he gives the example of BM that he has actually done this. He has actually done this. So grace is already achieved. Right? So we know that the mercy and compassion has already been given to us, and the opportunity has already been given to us. And then now what is owed from us, what needs to be repaid, is imbibing those seven principles. So those seven principles, right? Sankopnishta, Sarvapnishta, Swatarpanishta, Sabnishta, Sabdhavani, vigilance, and then continuity. So continuity and all the things we talked about, right? DB, Vairagya, Bhakti, Vaidharamagnana, Vairagya, Bhakti, association, vigilance, unity, the five ends of unity, seven principles of unity, how to have unity. We have conviction in the form and then conviction in one's own goal. So just to do an active recall of, again, the outline of this, it is we have nishtha, right, which is conviction, which is firm conviction. And then we have conviction in what? We have conviction in the form. We have conviction in your own resolve. We have conviction in unity, correct? And then we have conviction in doing ekantik dharma. Now, what does this ekantik dharma consist of? Well, it is the pillars of Dharma, Kanal, and Veda, and Bhakti, and then we also talk about the different 9 types of Bhakti, correct? And then all of these is overarching theme is about continuity or right, satatya, right? Being continuous, not letting obstacles get in the way. So this is the outline of the book, right? It talks about conviction, what to have conviction in, have conviction in the resolve, have conviction in the form, have conviction in unity, different ways to have unity, 5 M's of unity, 7 principles of unity, having resolve, Gantik D, GV, DG, Vairagya Bhakti, and then the 9 types of Bhakti. And then all of these are under the umbrella of maintaining continuity and maintaining firm resolve and not letting obstacles hinder in the way of doing those activities and having having that mindset. And then finally, we conclude this with the overarching fundamental aim of repaying the debt, which is the fact that the compassion has already been given, and now it's up to us to actually imbibe those and practice those. And an example of BM is also given. So that is the outline, chapter outline, and the crux of the entire book itself. A lot of it is repetitive in nature, but it connects well to other topics in the book as well. We have external vigilance is also another thing that I did not mention in the outline. So vigilance we have is self-helping of maintaining awareness of the external company, internal company, which is Gosam, right? So maintaining that vigilance is important. And then association with GS is also critical in imbibing these virtues. And then another idea is that if we only do certain endeavors, that will bear the fruits of doing all of these endeavors. Another idea in the beginning of was that we don't need to pursue these physical extreme austerities. It's only few austerities and renunciation and association we need to follow that gives the merits of all of these physical austerities, such as renunciation, meditation, and deed, etc. Stop there.